Thanks for tuning in to another exciting show here on the Professional Edge. My name's Todd. I appreciate you listening in. And what we're going to talk about, we got the new administration, and President Trump is well underway on changing things and raising the saber up in the air and pontificating on different things. And hopefully that's going to be a positive result for you, the investor, and also a listener here on the Professional Edge. So with that in mind, the topic for this podcast is going to be plan today, enjoy tomorrow. What does that mean? Well, we all know that tomorrow is going to come, and if we don't plan for it, then tomorrow might be a little bit more difficult than today. And a lot of individuals that we meet with down here at the Cunningham Center or via Zoom or up here in Atlanta, they come in and they have this expectation that they're going to work until age 65, 66, or some come in and say, hey, you know what? I want to retire at 55. They're sitting in the chair at age 50, and we run some numbers, and they have a 401k. They might have some after-tax investments. They have an old 401k from a former employer, and they have some savings. They might have put some money in a CD given the 5% rate, but when you try and renew those now, you're not going to get a 5% rate. So we sit down and we collect that data and we try and understand how they're planning to get there. And they have this unrealistic expectation that they are going to spend more in retirement than they are currently earning. So that's one thing on planning today to enjoy tomorrow, that you have a realistic expectation on what your savings and your accumulation is actually going to be able to afford to you. And one of those, in retirement, we're always looking for cash flow. We can't spend the equity in our house for the payment of our utilities or buying food or paying car insurance, but everyone counts that towards their net worth. Well, that's great. You can count that towards your retirement funding if you are going to elect to sell the house and either become a renter and take that equity off the table. Now, one tax strategy is if you sell your principal primary residence, you can exclude $500,000 from capital gain. You don't have to reinvest that to exclude that from taxable income. And that's for a married filing joint couple. If you're single, then that's $250,000 of gain exclusion. So that's one way to create additional capital. But again, what is your plan? You got to plan today to enjoy tomorrow. So the plan might be, hey, we're going to get out of this house and we're going to downsize. We're going to buy a much cheaper house. We're going to take that equity, add to our investments. That's great. When it comes time, though, that has to be part of that plan. If you're counting on that equity to generate some income for your retirement. So we can't get to retirement planning that you're going to sell the house, take part of that equity and place it in your investment account or your portfolio and think that that is going to generate a substantial return, or at least some return, to supplement your retirement income. Because if you, don't sell the house, you stay there longer than planned, then that equity is not growing to produce that income. So again, what is the plan for today? And unfortunately, most of our listeners here on the Professional Edge have no sort of plan in place. That would be like hopping in the car, loading your suitcase up with nowhere to go. Well, most of us don't do that. We know if we're going on a trip, we know the destination that we're going. We figure out the route to get there, and we get there in a very distinct manner. We don't get sidetracked. Well, same thing happens for retirement. That is a point in time. Do you want to retire at 62, 65, 70, whatever that might be? So that's your destination. Now we have to come back, and that's what we do at estate management counselors, is we come back and we say, how do we get from where you are today, let's say age 50, you have some retirement funding, and you have some Roth, you have a regular IRA, some other savings, maybe some rental property. How do we get from where you are today to where you need to be tomorrow, your age of retirement, and to be able to fund out your retirement spending. Yes, there's a calculation that we perform. Do you elect Social Security as soon as you're eligible, 62, or do you wait until 67, or do you wait until 70? Well, it all comes into the math on creating that financial plan, that retirement income projection plan that we do. And to sit down and have that conversation with us, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. So when we start planning for tomorrow, because we're going to plan today to enjoy tomorrow, we take a snapshot of what you have, and you would be surprised after we do this analysis. We're seeing individuals holding the wrong investments in the wrong accounts. Because there's tax efficiency in being a tax attorney and a CPA. I'm very cognizant of that. It's what you get to keep that matters, not what you earn. So we're seeing individuals that are paying excess taxes on money they're not spending. That makes no sense because it's not the 8% rate of return that you have in your brokerage account. Okay, you might have got 8% rate of return. Well, that's not your real rate of return because part of that you have to pay tax on. So now we have to subtract that out. So your net real rate of return might be 6.5%, not the 8% that you thought about. So again, that's doing that plan today to enjoy tomorrow. Let's not pay the IRS more than we necessarily have to by law. Not going to cheat, just make sure you apply the rules properly. And the other thing a lot of individuals say is, we're sitting around the McDonald's table, and it's all these gentlemen. I come in there when I come down to Atlanta. I see this group of guys over here, and they're discussing what the stock market's doing. And, Harry did this, and Jimmy did that, and you need to do this. And no one's really qualified. Nobody is accountable or responsible for providing that advice. It's just napkin advice is what I call it. And they're not trained as a tax attorney or a CPA to make sure that the tax rules apply. They just read something or heard something about how somebody did something, and it gets all convoluted. It's sort of like playing telephone as a kid. You pass a message along to one and you see how screwed up it is by the time the last person gets it, and everybody laughs. Well, if you're doing that with your finances, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because you, as a listener here on the Professional Edge, you are responsible for your own retirement. It's not the government's responsibility, and employers have delegated that out to you as well with the 401k. That's why they did away with the pensions. They don't want to be responsible for your retirement. So that's why they instituted the 401k. Yes, they produce a match potentially. And with that, it's your responsibility to make that contribution to your 401k to supplement your Social Security. And also, based on your expectations, are you required or should you be putting more dollars away in an after-tax account or a Roth account? Something else to plan for. So again, plan today to enjoy tomorrow. It's not hard. It's not any more effort. It is just facing that plan. And when you think about it, why do professional golfers have coaches? I mean, they're the top of the world. They play under par golf all the time. Well, they all have coaches, and there's a reason why they have a coach is because that coach can see things that they need to do and implement to stay as a professional, to stay on the cutting edge of being great. So that's why you, as a listener here on the Professional Edge, if you don't have that coach, meaning an advisor, and an advisor being a registered investment advisor that by law has to act in your best interest, then it's time to make a change or implement someone to assist you, help you. So if you want to start that conversation, do give us a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. Now, to plan today and enjoy tomorrow, why don't we go to EMC The Bundle, that is Echo Mary Charlie The Bundle.com, and see how we have put together this combination of getting your estate plan done, your portfolio reviewed, and recommendations in writing, and a tax strategy plan for you. Now, that is a substantial discount only for our listeners here on the Professional Edge. Do take advantage of that. That's our inflation buster that we put together for our listeners. Again, that is Echo Mary Charlie thebundle.com. So we're going to have more coming up here on the Professional Edge, and we're talking about planning today to enjoy tomorrow. One way to plan today is, are you fully funding your Roth IRA? Now, some people know that there is an income limitation, but we all understand there is to do this Roth via a backdoor. That is making non-deductible contribution to an IRA and then convert that over into your Roth IRA. So if you've heard the notion, well, I make too much money to put any money in a Roth IRA, well, let's start that plan today, do the backdoor Roth, and put that money inside that account. And again, I feel that's the magic bucket for retirement planning, because once you're out of the tax system, then the principal and any gains you receive is going to come back to you income tax free. So that's how we plan today to enjoy tomorrow. We're going to get tax-free income to supplement, and that is not part of your contribution calculation for how much of your Social Security is included in taxable income either. So that's another thing. Plan today. A, how am I going to reduce my taxes in retirement? So we put that plan in today so we can enjoy tomorrow. I appreciate you listening to the Professional Edge. We're going to have more coming up. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, certified financial planner,